So now we're going to cover a brief outline for assignment 2. And assignment 2 is due by week 6 on a Friday by 6 p.m. And it really is important that you try and submit before to look at the similarity rate. And if your similarity rate is too high, then you can amend it. And you have up to 3 submissions. The guidance for CW2 is a 3,000 word management report format. So let's have a look and see what we mean by the report format. So as we know, in a report format, you always have your executive summary, followed by your contents page, then your introduction. Then we're going to have an extensive critical analysis of your chosen contemporary issue, and analyze and critically evaluate how your chosen issue impacts on business management and the organization. Analyze how the role of the stakeholders' views on strategic direction of the organization. A theoretical review of stakeholder views. Explore stakeholder relationship, stakeholder analysis and management engagement, challenges and strategies. And consider reviewing past stakeholder reports for your chosen organization to support your narrative on the action of stakeholders. And then you will have your conclusions and recommendations. So, in terms of your introduction and the background of your chosen company, obviously this follows on from assignment 1. And from assignment 1, you've gone into a great deal of detail in terms of stats, facts and figures in terms of your chosen company and all the details and the reasons why you've chosen this company and where they currently sit. But obviously in this introduction here for your chosen company, you don't want to make it as extensive, but you want to make it more concise. So you want to make it more concise and you want to rewrite it so it's actually different from your first one. Then we need to carry out a critical analysis. So in your critical analysis, you really need to have different views from different authors on your topic or your contemporary issue. And so you need to do a lot more research in terms of a range of different authors with views and opposing views in terms of your issue. So we're going to have a look at some examples of a critical analysis. So example 1 here says, there's conflicting evidence on the ability of students to accurately assess themselves. Louis and Smith 2010 recently evaluated students' self-assessment ability with a sample of over 3,000 first-year students. The correlations indicated weak to moderate accuracy of self-assessment ability. Cassidy 2007, it is in comparison of student estimated, and tutor marks also concluded that there was poor level of self-assessment skill in the majority of students. However, Jewell 2010 has found that postgraduate business students had a high accuracy of self-assessing their research proposals. This therefore suggests that there is conflicting evidence as to whether students self-assessment their skills. So you can see here with this example, you've got different authors, in terms of this specific issue, agreeing and disagreeing. But we're going to have a look at 2 more examples now. In the second example, it says, there are many views on why Queen Elizabeth I did not marry. Richards 2006 presents a case predicated on the unsuitability of her many suitors, although Shaw 2004 dismisses this thesis on the basis that Elizabeth, above all else, wanted to present herself as the Virgin Queen, dedicated to England. Both of these explanations are challenged by Jones 2008, who examined numerous documents depicting Elizabeth as a very difficult person unsuited to marriage. However, the veracity of this explanation is in question due to the biased sample of documents examined by Smith 2009. So you can see here the kind of critical analysis. It's not your own views, it's the views from different authors, from different articles that you researched. Example here, it says research by the European Commission 2002 has also shown that the most important factor impeding SME, small to medium enterprises of all sizes, from going digital is the belief that e-commerce is not applicable to their type of products or services and a lack of perceived commercial benefit. On the other hand, recent research by Actinic 2015 shows that in their sample of UK SMEs, 72% believe their e-commerce is important in promoting their business, and that increased sales remain the main justification for e-commerce adoption. However, it should also be noted that early adopters may have done so because they could obtain these benefits, and if so, does not follow that all SMEs will benefit in the same ways. In addition, this assertion may be due to the survey's focus on e-commerce rather than e-business. ICT skills gaps seems to be more important for small enterprises than for large and medium ones. So we can see here again the different views in terms of small to medium enterprises and their beliefs and adoptions of this from not your own views, but different views from different sources. So you really have to go into do a lot more research in terms of more articles, in terms of your contemporary issue, to find the people who agree and disagree. We move on to 3, which is like analyze and critically evaluate how your chosen issue impacts on business. So if we take the example of sustainability and a car manufacturer, and we're going to relate this to BMW. So sustainability, just to recap, Brundtland Report, Agenda 21, Rio de Janeiro 1992, when it was highlighted there at the Earth Summit that sustainability was key, and then the different pillars of sustainability, which was the environmental side, the social side, and the economic side. And then later on, even though it wasn't part at that time of the sustainability pillars, the ozone layer has now become kind of like the 4th pillar of sustainability, and we've seen this with COP26, COP27, that the ozone layer is very, very important. So really, how in terms of your contemporary issue does that affect your chosen company? So we look at BMW, we can see in terms of the environment, the social side, in terms of costs going up, petrol prices going up, and the ozone layer in terms of healthy air. Well, all new BMW 5 Series will be revealed in 2023, and the electric i5 variant might even go on sale before the year is out. At the top of the line, the i7 Drive 60 features a 101.7 kilowatt battery, 20 front and rear engine motors, 537 brake horsepower, range of up to 388 miles, and 0 to 62 in 4.7 seconds. Absolutely amazing, for a battery, and going up to a maximum range of 388 miles, which was always the biggest concern by consumers in terms of how far electric cars can go. So we can see that BMW, in terms of the environment, in terms of the social, in terms of the ozone layer, is actually making changes in terms of the cars that they're developing, and they have to. If we look at London, we've got the UEL zone, and London by 2030 is going to be petrol and diesel free, with only electric cars allowed into the Greater London area, and this is going to be adopted by other cities in the UK and around the world. So this is becoming a strategy that BMW and other car manufacturers need to adopt. At the sustainability in terms of the pillar of economic, we can see that BMW, in terms of a global perspective, as entered China in 2003 because they needed to, for a joint venture with a Chinese company, Brilliance China Automotive Holdings Limited, which was a leading automotive and automotive component manufacturer in China. And now, in 2018, the German car manufacturer has increased its stake in the company to 75% from 50% because of the change of laws in China. But we can see from a global perspective the need for going into new markets, having joint ventures on specific projects and different makes of cars, and this is predominant now, and it's affecting the whole of BMW's car manufacturing business. When we think about the next point in terms of stakeholder analysis, well, a lot of you would have done stakeholder analysis before. And when you're looking at stakeholder analysis, you're saying to yourselves, we're analyzing it. Who are the stakeholders to our company? But then, which of these stakeholders have, low power but a high interest, or low power and low interest? And which of these stakeholders have high power but a low interest, but more importantly, a high power and high interest, because this is going to affect the company and what the company does. If I give you the example of Tesco's in Streatham, Tesco's wanted to open a huge metro store in Streatham, and they opened the store, but they had to also build a swimming pool for the community. They also built an ice ring for the community. They also built affordable housing. Why? Because you had community groups that were anti building any more retail stores, and they had high power and high interest and influence in terms of their MPs, in terms of what and their local councils. So Tesco's met all these criteria in order to meet the high interest and high power of these community groups. The next thing that you need to do is to consider reviewing past stakeholder reports, in terms of choosing your organization, your narrative, and the action of stakeholders. Now, here you need to go into more research, and you need to look at various reports in relation to your stakeholders and your company. If we take the example here, corporate governance report by HSBC in 2020, they said that during the course of 2020, the committee will continue to focus on the succession plan and monitor HSBC's compliance with new regulations and developments arising under best practice and from the UK Corporate Governance Code. The committee has also commissioned a subsidiary governance review of the group's principal and key material subsidiaries. So here, this was taken from the corporate governance report for HSBC, and again, you need to find out the reports, find out the stakeholders, what they actually said, and the implications to your company. And finally, you have your conclusions and recommendations. And just as a brief recap, you have your executive summary, contents page. You have your introduction, background into the company. Remember, it's from assignment 1, so make it brief and concise and change it. You have your extensive critical analysis of your chosen contemporary issue from different authors. You need to analyze the effects on the contemporary issue on your business operations. Then you need to explore the stakeholder relationship, looking at stakeholder analysis, and then past stakeholder reports and how this affects your company, and finally conclusions and recommendations.